Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of Galatians. And I want to apologize for taking nearly 11 minutes of your time last time. I got so caught up in the text that I did two in a row. I had planned those out to be two different sessions, but they are one thought. He just doubles the thought, and we covered them both yesterday. So maybe take a day off. I don't know, because I owe you that time. We're continuing our study of the book of Galatians. We're in chapter 3, um, and um, and I am or chapter 4, I should say, and I'm going to be reading verse 8 through verse 20. And we are coming to we're in the middle of, but towards the end of this long section in the middle where Paul um, makes his arguments from the Old Testament very much in the way a rabbi would make his point, um, linking verses together based upon a theme word, the quite logical linear reasoning, the point A to B to C to D, by using verse to verse to verse to verse, using extended metaphor and using allegory based upon Old Testament figures. And the long allegory he's going to use at the end of this section is the bondwoman and the free woman. It's just devastating to the argument of the Judaizers because he associates them not with Sarah but with Hagar, and quite irrefutably links them to the bondwoman, not to the free woman, not to the woman of promise, but to the Egyptian woman who was the concubine. We haven't gotten there yet. We're not going to get there today. But let's not forget that the whole text is highly charged with his emotion, and and he's going to pause a bit to reiterate his shock that so soon after he left, these goofballs from Jerusalem could come there to Pisidian Antioch, to Lystra, to Derbe, to these congregations that he established, and thoroughly mess things up in such a short period of time. Why do I have to make this argument to you? I don't get this. I mean, I'm doing it, but who even are you that I have to make it this soon? And that's basically what he's going to say to them today. So I can't say he takes a breath. He gets wound up in the middle of his rabbinic point presentation to say, "Who are you people? I thought I knew who you were, and I guess I don't." So let's read 12 through 20, or 8 through 20. However, at that time you did not know God; you were slaves to those who are by nature no gods. But now that you have come to know God, or rather to be known by God as his children, how is it that you turn back again to the weak and worthless elemental things to which you desire to be enslaved all over again? Why are you going back being Gentiles and doing those things you used to do whenever you know what grace is? He's going to make a much similar point in Colossians, especially using that phrase, the elemental things of the world. You know, the things the world always uses, all the way back to the Garden of Eden, to convince us that God didn't say exactly what he absolutely did say, and to deceive us or to lure us into doing the things that we're not supposed to do. You observe days and months and seasons and years. I'm afraid for you that perhaps I have labored over you in vain. I beg of you, brethren, become as I am, for I also have become as you are. Be like me because I became like you. Be like me in putting aside the Mosaic law as not relevant to us anymore. Uh, I did it for you. I became like you. As he says in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 9, I became all things to all men that I might win a few. I became like a Gentile in order that I could convince you of the truth of the gospel. Why am I now convincing you not to be a Jew? When I gave up being a Jew in order to convince you to be a Christian. Um, but you know that it was because of bodily illness I preached the gospel to you for the first time. We know about his mission work there in the book of Acts, chapter 14. But what we're not really told about the illness that he had there, although it tracks with other things that happened, particularly Mark's leaving them, that they may have run into, illness, a plague of some kind or something that he was having to deal with. You know that it was because of bodily illness that I preached the gospel to you the first time, and that which was a trial to you in my bodily condition, and you did not despise or loathe, but you received me as an angel from God, as Christ Jesus himself. Where then is the sense of that blessing you have? I bear you witness that if possible, you would have plucked out your own eyes and given them to me. Have I therefore become more your enemy by telling you the truth? They eagerly seek you, not commendably. They wish to shut you out in order that you may seek them. But it is good always to be eagerly sought in a commendable manner, not only when I am present with you. My children, with whom I am again in labor until Christ is formed in you, he's using the birth metaphor. And he's saying, I thought I birthed you people into Christ. Evidently not. Evidently, I'm still in labor pains over you. But I wish I could be present with you now. And to change my tone, I'm just surprised about you. So the Apostle Paul here has been very emotional, and he's connecting them to this time when he was with them, when they had to take care of him. We don't know what his disease was. We don't know what he was suffering through. He talks about plucking your eyes out. I don't know that it was an eye disorder, although everyone likes to associate lack of eyesight to Paul for a variety of reasons. That's just a phrase saying, you'd do anything for me. You would have plucked your own eyes out from me. And it's a phrase that's several hundred years old that is just generally used to mean you'll make the ultimate sacrifice. By the time Paul writes Galatians, whatever it was not easy to care for. It would have been off-putting to see someone suffering, but that didn't matter to them. They loved him so much they took care of him. So he's saying, if that's the case, and I brought you Jesus and you accepted Jesus, now when I'm gone, are you turning your back on Jesus? And he just scratches his head, as I just did. I don't get you people. I don't get you. He's going to continue in this vein in verse 21. We'll pick up with that next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.